All right, so we are live. And we're going to talk about fear of loss today. I have my glasses here, which I said that are going to be very helpful to help us understand this fear of loss and what it really means. So, can you see the gift as well? It's a tattoo on the sign of a gift, which is actually going to be helpful in this conversation because a breakup is a gift. A breakup is a great gift that happens to us, and we are so scared. We are so afraid of it. So we're trying to prevent the breakup. We're trying to avoid the breakup. We're trying to get the ex back. We're trying to get the wife back. We're trying to somehow prevent the breakup. In fact, I hope after this session you're going to be excited to lose someone, not try to get someone back. I mean, that's the most insecure thing we can do, which is not a value judgment. It just means that we are unaware of the fact that a breakup is a good thing. And we're very distant from the truth. Imagine this is the truth, like a ball of light. It's the truth of what a breakup really is. Great gift, beautiful thing, if it comes to it, right? So usually we're being very insecure. So we're trying to prevent the breakup from happening. So being insecure, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. What's wrong is the way you see the breakup, the way you understand the breakup, the fact that you are very distant from the truth of what a breakup really is, or what it means for you, for your woman, for your husband, for your partner, and what it means for your life. And because you think a breakup means a failure, it means the end of your life, it means the end of your happiness, it means a terrible thing. It means that again you failed. It means that you cannot be happy again. Because you see it that way, of course, you're going to be scared. Of course, you're going to try to hold on with your teeth onto your partner. And even when your partner is not trying to leave or having doubts about the relationship, we are still worried. We're still attached to keeping the relationship because we're so afraid of it failing, of the breakup. So we want to change the way we see breakups, because once you change that, then being afraid, so that fear of loss no longer makes sense. It no longer makes sense. What's up? The wifey coming around here. Hey, say hello.
Hi.
She's the famous chef cooking right now something tasty in the kitchen. So actually, we just had a conversation last night with her about our potential breakup or divorce that may or may not happen at some point in our relationship. Yeah, we're married, and we were just discussing different things, because she's also quite in that state of mind, a little bit conditioned to fear a divorce, to fear a breakup. And I was explaining to her last night that if it happens, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. So we don't need to be afraid of it. I'm going to open the door because the Wi-Fi might not be perfect. So, hi, Stephen. So I was explaining to her last night, to my wife, that the point of our relationship or marriage is not for us to be together for as long as we can. It's not even to have, that family or something. It's for us to be happier together, and this will lead to a family, it will lead to kids, will lead to a lot of good things. But the more important thing is not to be together. The more important thing is for me to be happy, for her to be happy, and then for us to be happy together. So that's why I was telling her that if at some point I'm not happy in this relationship, then it's better that I leave it. And if she's not happy at some point in this relationship, then it's better that she leaves it. Of course, not right away. We can see maybe, we can do something about it. But if we're not happy, then it's best if we actually leave the relationship. Because the point is not to be with someone or to keep someone or to have a marriage or to have a relationship or to save anything. The point is to be happy with someone, for your life to be better. That's really what the point of life is, to have a great quality experience. So yeah, in this session, I think why the Wi-Fi is a bit slow right now. But in this session, what we want to look at is this fear of loss and why it's not real, it's not a fact. So we think this fear is so real, it's so solid. And we kind of know already that we shouldn't be afraid of losing our partner. Maybe you're familiar with my work a bit. Maybe you've seen it somewhere else. Even the Buddhists, they talk about this loving without attachment, which is a beautiful kind of teaching. So maybe you kind of know that you shouldn't be afraid of loss, but you can't help it. You just feel it. So what we want to do is we want to see through that fear, see that it's not real. It's actually a collection. So the fear of loss, here's how I want you to see it. It's a collection of different fears that come together under the fear of loss. Fears like, I'm going to be lonely and I'm not going to be happy. I'm never going to find someone as great as this person. I've invested so much in this relationship and I don't want to lose it. My life will, it will mean that I'm a failure because I lost my partner, my wife, my kids, and so on. So all of these are many different fears, and there's many others. So when these fears come together, they create this one big fear of loss, which is the core of neediness and the thing which actually makes us lose the family, lose the wife, lose the relationship. So the reason you may know you shouldn't be afraid, but you still are afraid, is because it's like a rope. Imagine a rope, a thick rope, the ones that you go like crossfitting, and you try to climb, right? It's very thick. Now try to break the rope, you cannot. What you can do is to take all the small fibers of that rope, cut them one by one. And once you cut the ropes, so you overcome all of the fears individually, you see that they're not true, then you can break the rope. Or, which is the way, so I do this and I do something else as well. It's like I bring in a big scissor, or maybe like a chainsaw, I forget how it's called in English, and you break that freaking rope. So imagine a big scissor and right? So in my work with men, in my trainings, what we do is we have both of these approaches. We look at all the fears, we identify and we dissolve, we clarify all of the fears, but also you start seeing things, you start seeing breakups in a certain way that it's almost like all of the fears are already irrelevant, because it's not a bad thing to lose someone. So it doesn't make sense. You change your relationship to fear. That's why overcoming that fear is very hard. That's why most people, it's very human to be afraid of losing something that you love, to be afraid of losing something that you value. So most people are afraid, and that's why most relationships suck. They suck a lot and they fail. especially when things go further and they get married. That's when fear is even bigger. Like marriage makes fear even higher, because now we made it official. Now we promised love to each other forever. We promised love in front of God. We promised love in front of the whole family, the extended family. And now if we break up, it means we failed. It means I'm a failure. It means I'm not good enough. It means I don't deserve to be loved. And then money it's involved. That's why I'm saying to people who are considering, even joining this group training that we're starting in a few weeks, or working on their mindset, that being afraid and being needy, having that, insecure mindset is very expensive. Not just in your happiness that you're missing, in the quality of life, but in a lot of money. There's thousands and thousands of dollars involved in being needy. So in this work, what we want to do is we want to cut that rope, and at the same time look at all of the fears. So there's nothing making you afraid. And like I said, everyone is afraid, because it's kind of natural. We think, well, if I love someone, then I also must be afraid, because if I'm not afraid of losing them, it means I don't love them. And that's not true. That's one of the biggest traps we have. Like, even if you go right now to your girlfriend or to your wife and you say, hey, I love you with all of my heart, but at the same time, it's okay if we don't have to be together. It's okay if we break up tomorrow. If at some point you're not happy, it's good, it's fine. I want you to be happy with or without me. Like, if you say that to your partner, she may freak out. She may be like, oh, you don't love me. How can you say that? If you mean you're okay with us not being together? That's why not only most people will never say something like that, but most people will not even give themselves permission to think of a breakup, or to think of a breakup being okay. Because they're like, well, if I think of a breakup, it means somehow it's going to happen, the breakup, and I don't even want to think about it. It's like death. I don't want to think about death. Like, I'm going to live my life and not worry about death. No, that's a different conversation. But like, when you understand that death is not a big deal, it's just a change in the experience you're having. This is, the experience of being human. Then you go into spirit experience, whatever your view of it. But once you stop being afraid of it, then you can actually be alive. You can not be afraid of that. You can have a proper life where you're not afraid. You're not, so scared all the time. Yeah. Now that's a much more philosophical, conversation, not for this topic. But for relationships, if you're comfortable with a breakup, then you can finally, within the relationship, be fully yourself. You can finally, not need to prove yourself, not need to be someone else that you're not. You can be, this is me, and if you're happy to be with me, beautiful. If not, that's beautiful too. Even though we're 20 years married and we have 5 kids, the point of that connection, of that relationship, of that family, of that marriage, is not to have that thing, is to be happy, because we have that. And we can still, grow kids and have, a relationship, even though we're not in a relationship. So we can have, especially with kids, we can have those kids and we can take care of them. But if we're not happy, then most people use this as the excuse. Yeah, but I have kids, so of course what? Of course you're gonna be miserable. Like, what kind of example are you giving to these kids, that they should be miserable? Like, imagine your own kid 20 years later staying in a relationship and being miserable because of his kids. No, that's not the kind of example you give. You have to mature enough to a point of seeing that relationships must have the basis of joy, of enjoyment. And if the reason it leads to a breakup where kids have to be without parents, let's say, is because you made a poor selection in the beginning of your partner, of your wife. You made a needy selection. You just accepted whatever you could get, not the ideal partner that you want to have. And then the reason even that relationship or marriage kind of leads to a breakup is because you have accepted a poor, mediocre relationship, and you have not spoken up when you were not happy because you were afraid of messing things up. So I'm going on a rant here a bit, and let's actually come back to that fear. So glasses, right? These fancy glasses. Let me use them a bit. With this haircut, people tell me that I'm like Beckham or something. They look good actually on me, but these are not my favorite glasses. Now the point with these glasses is that when you think of a breakup, or when you think of your divorce, it's like you're looking at the horizon and you see this storm. You're like, wow, if this happens, my life will go to hell. You know, it's like it's gonna ruin everything. It's gonna destroy everything. My happiness will be destroyed. My self-esteem, many things will be bad, basically. So it's like you see a storm at the horizon, and you're scared of the storm, and you're afraid of it. So you're trying to prevent it from happening. You're trying to drag your partner to counseling, spending a lot of money there. Just and it's not gonna help. Or you're trying to buy her gifts or take her on a holiday vacation for a few more $1,000s, thousands of dollars, and then you do whatever you can because you're afraid of the storm. The reality, though, is that there is no storm. What's making you see the storm is that you have these glasses. And when you look at the horizon, it looks like a storm, but it's not that there is a storm. It's that your way of seeing, it's like the inner glasses, the mental glasses, make the breakup seem like a bad thing, like a scary thing. So it's your fears of what a breakup means that makes it seem like a bad thing. The breakup is not a bad thing inherently. It's actually a very good thing, which we'll discuss a bit more today or in the training, upcoming training as well. So the breakup is not a bad thing. What makes it bad is all of the false beliefs and ideas that you have about what it means, right? So what we need to do, therefore, is to clean the glasses or even take them off, right? So if we start cleaning the glasses, like we look at all of the fears of what the breakup means, I'm never gonna be happy again. One of the fears could be, like, is this really true? You're never gonna, I mean, okay, you lose your partner, but you are alive. You are still able to walk, speak, drink, eat, sleep, move, breathe, smile. Your life continues with or without this person. Will you not be happy again? Of course you will be happy again. You know? So that's just one of the fears. It's a big one. Or I'm going to be lonely for the rest of my life. This is even bigger as a fear for people who are older. Like I work with people who are 60, 70, 50, 30, and so on. But the ones who are older, they're like, I'm gonna die alone. Well, if you hold on to every woman you meet or man you meet, you will die alone because you're not able to see properly what a breakup is. Anyway, the mindset is not right. So once we clean the glasses, we overcome each of these fears. Then we look at the horizon and we see there's no storm. It's a sunny day, actually. You know, a breakup is not a bad thing. It's actually a thing to be celebrated. But however, because everyone in our society, everyone around us, and even our own fears and mechanism of seeking security sees breakups as bad, we think they're normal. We think they have to be storms. They have to be rain, or maybe not a storm, but a rainy day. But actually, it's a sunny day once you take off the glasses, once you clean up all of the fears, which are false ideas. They're not facts. If you look at them closely, just like with this one, I'm never going to be happy. Well, let's look at it really closely. Or there's another fear, for example, that is, I will never find someone as good as this person. I will never find a woman, for example, that understands me so well, with whom I can be so happy like I was with this one. That's a huge one, actually. It's a huge fear. Now, what's funny is that if you've been for a few years with your current partner and you're afraid that you'll never find someone as good as she is, think of the previous relationship you had before this one, before your current wife, your current husband, the one before that, which may have left you as well. The previous girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend, the ex-wife or partner. Did you have the same, if you really cared about that person, you probably had the same fear of like, I'll never find someone as good as that girl. And then what happened? You found another girlfriend or another husband, another partner that's much better than the previous one. So this is a fear that you had before, but then it has proven itself not right, because now you found your current partner, right? So this fear of, I'm never gonna find someone as good as this person is not a fact. It's really BS. Of course, we can look a lot deeper at this. Like, for example, you think, well, when I spend time with this person, it's just so magical, or it used to be so magical. Well, it's always going to be magical. That's how people who love each other spend time together. You feel good with every person you fall in love with. So the magical time, the happiness doesn't come from the person, this unique person who can give you the magical feeling. That happiness comes from the fact that you are in love and she's in love and you have a beautiful experience where you share love. So it's not that you cannot be happy with anyone else other than this person. You'll have the exact same feelings or even much better with another partner as well. Because the beautiful experience is not given by the person, it's given by the feelings you have for each other. And everyone who falls in love is going to treat you in the same way. She's going to smile, or he's going to smile and bring you flowers and kiss you and cuddle you and touch your face and be like, and make love and all that good stuff. It's going to happen with everyone. So anyway, these are just some examples of fears that color the glasses and make us look at the breakup as a bad thing. But when we realize that, of course, you can be happy without this person. Of course, you will be happy in general, even without a relationship. Then you're no longer afraid of a breakup. Then you're like, sure, then you can, and this is just one approach, guys. I mean, this will help you if you reflect on it, but there's, let's say, 5, 6, 10 other ways of looking at a breakup and so on, which I don't really have time in this workshop to share. But once you see it clearly, that is not a bad thing, then you can look at your partner and honestly say, I want to be with you as long as we're happy. And if you're not happy, I want you to leave, or I want you to let me know. And if we cannot be happy together, then I want you to leave. And if I'm not happy in this relationship, then hopefully, right, I will have the courage to speak up and be honest and set some boundaries and express some standards. And if nothing changes, then I will leave. So when you overcome this fear, then it's very simple. Relationships are so easy and so relaxed. What makes them hard is this fear of loss, plus the other 3 things. So plus that foundation of you really valuing yourself as a man and having that core shift. And then you being happy on your own and having that core shift. So once you have that, it makes you a self-sufficient person. And then fear of loss is much smaller. But then you also look at this fear of loss and you're like, yeah, it's not a bad thing to lose someone. It's totally fine. So then you can actually speak up. So we're 24 minutes in. I'm going to share some other things. But let's look at some questions that you guys have about this, so then maybe it can be more relevant. We can interact a bit, and I'm gonna keep sharing some powerful perspectives for you to let go of this fear as much as you can. Cool. So go ahead and start asking your questions if you have some related to this topic. So Jody says, invaluable information. Wish I found this 6 months earlier. No, you don't wish you found me 6 months earlier. You found me when you had to find me, and this is the time when you can fix it, so that 5 years later, you don't say, I wish I figured that out then, because 5 years later you're going to be in another relationship, or maybe even married, and you're going to be experiencing the same thing. You're going to be like, I love this woman so much, and I know I should not be afraid because that guy 5 years ago told me I shouldn't be, and I kind of got it, but again, you're repelling your woman away. And you found me or my work or other people's work, you found these ideas at the right time, and now is the time to actually get it handled. So and I know what you mean is that the relationship has failed because you didn't know this, and you should be happy that relationship failed, because it brought you to finally start questioning your approach to relationships, so that from now on in your life you can actually have a happy relationship. So that breakup, that divorce, whatever you've experienced, Jody, is a good thing. It's a gift. It's a great gift. And every breakup is, because it forces us. The pain is big enough. It forces us to find answers. And without that pain, we'll never figure anything out. So I don't want any of you to feel guilty or bad about a breakup or a divorce. See it as the gift it is, the gift that it really forces you to fix things. And I'm actually going to share in a moment a definition of a breakup. What's a breakup actually, so that you can redefine what it means in your mind. I hope I don't forget, but let's so guys, any questions that you have? There's a few people watching right now, so any questions, or should I just continue sharing different perspectives? No questions? Cool. So if you do have questions, you can write them in the comment box. So the new definition of a breakup that I want you to see from now on is that a breakup is the end of two people's alignment. So it's like two roads, two individual roads. Let's imagine you are one road, she's another road, or he's another road, right? Two roads are going separately. Now, at some point you guys meet and you're like, oh, I like you. Oh, I like you too. Cool, let's be together. So you create one road. And then the road goes on together for months, years, decades, and so on. Hi, Shante. So then a relationship is like those two roads connecting and creating three roads. So creating one highway, let's say, or freeway with three lanes. Your individual lane, your relationship as a lane, and her individual lane. Like the individual lane is your life. Your individual lane is your life as well, your individuality that makes you happy. And then the middle lane is the relationship. So two like three lanes meet and connect, create one big road with three lanes, right? And then it goes on for a while, right? Months, years, decades, days, weeks, however long your relationship or marriage is. And then we're so scared of those lanes separating. But all it really means, what a breakup is, the new definition is that those two people were aligned for so long, and then they just separate. The lanes, separate. That's all it means, is that two people came together because it made sense to be together for those months, years, decades, however it was, to have the experiences, make the kids, help each other in some ways. And then a breakup is the end of those two people's alignment. So there's no more alignment. And that's all it means. A breakup, actually, guys, is a space creator. So if the alignment ends, it creates the space in your life that can be filled with the right partner for you, with the right woman for you. So it's a few different things. It's a space creator. It's the end of alignment. It's a huge lesson. It's a slap on the face, if you want, for us to question our approach to relationships, so that we're no longer needy. So we change our mindset. So we become secure. So it's a few different things, but the simplest way to see it is that it's the end of alignment. So you don't make it a big deal. You don't transform it into that storm, because it is actually a very good thing. It's a sunny day in reality, once we stop having those fears and all those false interpretations of a breakup. All right. So Andy is asking, is it inappropriate to try to maintain a friendship after a breakup? It depends. My advice is that you don't need to try to maintain anything. You don't need to try anything, basically. If a friendship happens, it happens. You don't need to try to maintain a friendship, because behind the trying may hide very much the need for getting her back, or some other kinds of fears, right? Or what may be more appropriate after a breakup is that you actually have some space for each other, for you to figure out your own value, your own mindset, for you to figure out your own life direction. So a friendship may not make sense, may not be the best thing. So you may actually need the space to not talk and so on, so that you go your own directions. Or if the friendship continues in some way, then it continues. You're not trying anything. So there's no expectation. You just do what feels right. And you really want to question whether it's, do I want to have this as a friendship because I hope something happens again? Or is this just, it kind of feels right for me to still spend time, communicate in some way with her, and she has the same feeling? Because if it is just you trying to have a friendship and she doesn't have that feeling, that's the same natural desire, then you don't want a friendship. You don't want anything that the other person doesn't want. Like, what you really want is that synchronicity of, I want a friendship, for example. Let's imagine that a friendship makes sense, and she wants a friendship. And not only do you say you want, okay, cool, let's be friends, but it actually happens. You actually kind of communicate, and you're happy to communicate, and you're not hitting on each other and so on. So don't try anything, see where it goes. But ideally, I would say, have some space for yourself. So that would be one way to approach it. Any other questions, guys? Shante, I know you had some questions last time. If you have anything else, you can ask. So here's one idea that I want you to reflect on. When it comes to this, it relates to men a lot, actually. You girls can use it as well as a metaphor, but I'm going to speak to men for a moment. So back in the day, there used to be these Vikings who were great, great warriors. And as great warriors, when they would go to battle, they would be fearless. They would be so fierce. They would be uh, hard to beat because they were so fearless. And what made them so hard to beat and so fearless was the fact that they were not afraid of death. In fact, for them, death was exciting. They didn't necessarily want to die. They didn't go there and be like, okay, kill me now. They were like, I appreciate my life, but if I die, it's good because I go to Valhalla. I go and I party with the gods, with Thor and Odin and so on, right? So they were even excited about the worst outcome, the death, right? But because they were not afraid of dying, they were able to be fierce, to be fully present and authentic and courageous, rather than being protective and walking on eggshells and trying to not get hit. No, they're going there and boom, 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 right? And that's what made them fierce. Now it's the same thing with relationships. When you're going in the relationship or you're in the relationship and are afraid of the worst outcome, a breakup, and you're like walking on eggshells and you're not able to be fully yourself, to be really fierce, because you're trying to avoid upsetting your partner rather than being who you are and being very clear about what's important, what's not important, what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. So you're not able to be a true lover, just like a Viking would not be a true fighter because of the fear of loss. If, however, you're not afraid of death in this case and of a breakup in this case, of a divorce, then you can be a true lover. All right. You can be actually authentic. You can be relaxed. You don't need to be anxious, stressed. You can be fully yourself. And that's when actually you create that desire, which we discussed in the previous workshop. When your partner knows that they could lose you because you're not afraid, you're mature enough to not be afraid of loss, then they want to be with you. They want to keep you because they appreciate you, and now they also desire you. All right. So this example is the same thing with the samurais, actually. What made a samurai so powerful is that he is not afraid of death. The samurais had a mantra which they used in their training as a mindset, which was the idea of dying before battle. So they said that for them, before they go to battle, they want to die before battle. So they die in their mind, in their mindset. They become okay with death. That's what it means to die before battle. They see it as okay. They see it as a form of honor to die in battle. So then they die before battle by accepting that worst outcome. So the same with you, like you become a true lover, whether you're a guy or a girl, by dying before battle. You get into a marriage, but you're okay with the divorce. You're totally comfortable with it. Doesn't mean you go for it or you go and cheat. It means that given that you choose to marry this person, it means you appreciate and you want to be with them. But at the same time, you're totally comfortable with it ending, because you know that if it does end, it's because there's no more alignment and there's no more willingness between partners to collaborate and have a great relationship. Yeah. So that's that. And Andy says best advice I've heard thus far in terms of the friendship. Cool. Yeah, the idea after a breakup is that you don't want to try. Whenever you're trying, you're actually afraid. If it happens naturally, beautiful. If it doesn't happen naturally, beautiful. And it's the same with relationships. Actually, the moment, this is a very subtle and deep concept, but it's a very powerful one. And if you grasp it, it may change a lot. So the moment in a relationship you're trying, you feel the energy of trying, you feel like, I'm trying to make this work, I'm trying to prove my partner that I deserve to be loved, I'm trying to save this marriage. Whenever you're trying, you're needy, because you don't want to be trying. You want to be naturally have a good relationship. If it's not happening naturally and you have to try, it's because you already have that fear, and it's because for some reason your partner is being cold. So instead of trying to save it, you want to stop trying, slow down a bit, and ask them, hey, do you still want to be in this relationship? Because I feel like you're being more cold lately. I feel like you're not interested. I feel like, the affection is kind of gone. You're treating me differently lately. You're being more cold. You don't have time for me. Do you still want to be in this relationship? So instead of trying to impress her, to save her, to keep her or him, you want to step back a bit and be like, hey, do you still want this? But for you to be able to do that, or even to come up with that, you need to not be afraid of loss in the first place. That's what I'm saying, that once we become secure, then we know all the answers. Like, you know exactly what you need to do in a relationship. You become your own master, because finally you're not affected by all those fears, and you're able to be like, I'm good with who I am. I know I am a valuable person, an amazing person. Whether I'm loved by this woman or not, whether I'm liked by this person or not, I know I'm happy on my own. I know I'll be fine even if this ends. So if I know those things, and I know that the only reason why I want to have this relationship is because I want to be happy with this person, or because we are happy, then the moment you're not happy in it, and you have that foundation of a secure mindset, then you're able to speak up. You're able to be like, hey, do you still want to be here? We don't have to. Let's see if it makes sense. That's why the secure mindset is the bridge. It's what allows for a joy-based relationship. So actually, I'm going to make an announcement, like with this occasion, that we're starting a training, a 6-week training, beginning of June. So in the next few weeks, and right now I'm accepting applications. Just this week I had a few interviews with a few people, selecting. I only have 7 places, so I'm going to take 7 people on this journey of changing their mindset and having 4 major mindset shifts in terms of your own self-esteem and confidence, in terms of your own happiness, independence from your partner, in terms of overcoming this fear of loss deeply, in terms of speaking up, setting boundaries, having that courage, and doing it right. So once we do this inner work, then we become secure. We change our mindset. So if you want to be considered for this and apply and join us, because you realize that that's what the solution is for my happiness and for my love life, that's the work that I need to do. And you can go to thesecureman.com/mindset, and you'll have some more information there. You'll have what the price is, the investment is. You'll have some other details, some other stories from past clients, and you'll be able to apply for a 20-minute conversation where we can see if it's a good fit, whether you are ready, whether you're the right person for this training. So I have 7 places, and if you want to take this further and have this transformation faster, then this is the thing for you, if you feel excited. So that's that. I'm actually going to leave at the end of the training. Actually, let me write it down here because it's relevant. So thesecureman.com/mindset. Thesecureman.com/. Yeah, that's the one. So you're free to go and check that out. Now, let's see if there's any other questions. So Shante says, I've done that before. What has me stuck is his response to those questions. Is he confused? So I end up not knowing what to do at that point. He's confused. Now this is a good question, actually. This is a good comment, because if he's confused, then he's not the right person. So his confusion tells you he's not ready. The only person you want to be with, partner, husband, you want to be with, is someone who is sure about being with you. If he's not sure, then you have to be the one to say, it's not a good fit. I don't want to be with you. So I hope it makes sense. So I don't want to be with a wife who's confused whether she wants to be with me. Her being confused disqualifies her from being the right woman for me. And if I'm confused about being with her, then she better respect herself and say, I don't want to be with a man who is confused about being with me. If you are confused, I want to separate now, end this now, and then you go figure yourself out. And when you're sure, come back and we may have a conversation, see if we want to be together. But I'm not going to tolerate a relationship or a marriage where confusion is okay. Like, if you're confused, doesn't mean you're a bad person or something is wrong with you. It just means that it's not a good fit. There's no good alignment there. And as long as you tolerate this confusion, you're going to have a confused relationship, a confused partner who's going to treat you hot and cold and make you more anxious and so on. I don't want to have the anxiety of being with a person who's confused. So confusion is not good enough for me or for you or for anyone. All right. Does it make sense? Yeah. You said it makes sense. Cool. So yeah, hope this helps. Any other questions that you guys have? Let me check if there's any other things here. So seems like there's no questions for now. We said it's going to be for 1 hour. So let me just see if there's anything else I want to share or that come up for you. But we did touch on some good topics today, actually. This idea with confusion is very important, and it's where most people trip up, actually, because they think that they need to help the person with their confusion. If you try to help your partner with his confusion or her confusion, then you're actually trying to convince them, and you're pushing them away faster. Because if they're confused already, it's because they're confused because you are in some form too needy toward them. They feel too certain about your love and presence in their life. So that is what made them confused. And when you ask them, do you want to still be here? And they say, yeah, but maybe I'm confused. And you try to help them with confusion, try to give them reasons why you should continue this. That's what makes it even worse, because it's yours over certainty which made them confused, and now you're trying to convince them, which makes them run away even faster. So Shantes says, I'm a hit the nail on the head when he gets back here in 3 months from the military. Okay, because whenever I try it over the phone, it never really works. Yeah, so of course, what I would do actually if I were you, I wouldn't try to solve it over the phone. In fact, in my mind, I would imagine I'm already without this person. We're not together anymore. Doesn't mean I'm gonna go and cheat or be with someone else, but I'm gonna be okay with that breakup already and live my life as if I'm not in this relationship. Or let them know that for these 3 months that I'm not with them, I don't want to communicate because I want to reflect on whether I want to be in this relationship or marriage. So you let them know that you don't want to have that communication, which would really mess up with your own process of finding yourself and finding your happiness and really being your own woman. Um, and for my own peace of mind, I would feel like as if I'm by myself. So almost as if this person is not in my life anymore, and focus on finding my own happiness without them, without needing them in my life. And then when he comes back, then you can really see like, hey, do we want to have this? All right. So Shante says that, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. It's kind of like I'm preparing for it. Yeah, of course, you want to be prepared for a breakup. You want to always be prepared for a breakup, no matter if it's the relationship is not working out so well lately. Even if it's working amazing, the relationship, not just your relationship, Shante, but in general, even if you just get married or have a beautiful marriage or relationship, you want to be kind of the thing with not being afraid of loss, of having the shift properly done, is that you're ready for a breakup before a breakup happens or even is possible to happen. And you being ready for that worst outcome and being okay with it and realizing that it's actually not so bad as an outcome is what makes you a secure person and what makes you actually prevent a breakup. Because you not being afraid of loss allows your partner to keep desiring you, like we discussed in the previous workshop, allows that passion to be there. So again, the only reason that passion goes away from the relationship is because one of the partner is afraid of losing the other. So if you're the one experiencing usually that your partner, your wife, your girlfriend, your husband is losing that spark, that passion, that love that they used to have in the beginning, if they are losing that, it's because of your fear of losing them. Once you overcome your fear of losing them, that's what, and they start to know that and see that hey, they're not afraid of losing me anymore because they've matured, they're secure enough. That's what actually reignites that passion, that spark. That's the only way to reignite the spark. So Shante, you may be surprised when he comes back and you tell him very clearly that, hey, we don't have to be together, so it's okay if we break up. I'm not happy with this and this and that. And you may be surprised how when he hears that and he sees that you're serious about it, he may be excited. This is the only way to reignite his spark and passion that he used to have for you in the beginning. The only reason he lost that spark and passion is because he started taking you for granted. He started feeling like, this is my woman, she's never gonna go anywhere. She loves me and she's never gonna leave me. And this puts a man to sleep and it puts a woman to sleep as well. So when you say, hey, I'm really not happy with this, with how things are, and I think it's okay if we break up, we don't have to be together. That's when that spark that used to be in the beginning is ignited again. That's what usually happens. And if it's not ignited, let's say you're telling him that you're okay with breaking up, and he says, yeah, sure, it's good. Then he was never actually willing to have the relationship. He was not wanting the relationship anyway. So you've done what needed to be done to end this madness because he may not have the courage to end it. So I'm going to end this, guys, with this idea of the only person that you want to be with is the person who wants to be with you. So if your partner is not sure about being with you or doesn't want to be with you, this must disqualify them for you from being the right partner for you. Because you will never be happy with someone who's not sure whether they want to be with you. And it would be too much work to try to keep convincing them. And it wouldn't work anyway, because the moment you convince, you push away. So the only person you want to be with is the one who wants to be with you. Like if let's say, as much as I love my wife, if she comes and says, I don't want to be with you anymore, then this tells me that she's not the right woman for me, because the right woman for me wants to be with me. And if she doesn't want to be with me, then it disqualifies her from being the right partner for me. All right? So when you start understanding that really deeply, you're no longer, you quit your job as a convincer and you relax a bit, you chill down a little bit, and you're like, if you want to be here, beautiful. If not, beautiful. So cool, guys. This is the Fear of Loss workshop. I hope you got some powerful insights. I hope this has helped you. Shante says, thank you so much. I'm happy it made sense for you, Shante. And everyone else watching this replay as well, I hope this was helpful for you. If you want to take this further, deeper, and have a complete transformation, then you're welcome to go to thesecureman.com/mindset and apply for the 6-week training where we change your mindset completely. 7 people, very small, intimate group, where we're going to actually do this. We're going to overcome this fear of loss completely, and then have the other shifts as well. The shift of your confidence, of your happiness, of your self-respect, and asking for what you want. And it's even beyond just the 4 shifts, because once you have each of those 4 transformations, changes in how you see yourself, how you see your life, how you see your relationship, and your partner, then your whole approach to relationship changes. You're no longer trying to hold on to people. You're able to love with an open hand, right? So you're not grasping, you're loving with an open hand, because you're not afraid of loss anymore. And you can be relaxed. You can love yourself, you can love your life, you can love your relationship as well, because you're treated right. This is the most important work, changing our mindset. It's the most important work we can do to make sure we have a proper quality love life, where your partner will never leave you. Because the only reason why people leave us is because we push them away with our insecure mindset. That's what turns them off. That's what turns your husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend off. Our insecure approach is like that magnet. It's like it's pushing them away. And we try to give, and this is pushing them away even more. But as we become secure, we change the magnet, we turn it around, and instead of repelling something, it attracts something. So it's extremely powerful. So that's the inner work of becoming a secure person, becoming a secure man, a secure woman. This is what allows us to have a proper love life and have that lasting relationship, that lasting family, where you can be happy for the rest of your life. This is the work. So I hope this is helping you turn into that as much as you can. And if you want to take this further, then you're welcome to apply for a spot. We can have an interview, a short session, see if it makes sense, and then you can join us or not, if you're not a good fit or not ready, and so on. Because many people are not ready actually to have this transformation. And if that's the case, then I cannot accept those people in. So we'll be selecting the 7 people and starting the training in about 2 weeks. So cool. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next workshop. Cheers.